Hey everyone, Coach Timmy here with Hybrid House and Brand Performance. This is podcast 2. We had so much fun doing the first one that I reached out to my dear friend and Hybrid House member Denise Hahn to bring her on to talk a little bit more about her athletic journey and her fitness journey. So welcome, Denise. Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me.
So Denise, I want you to talk a little bit about, let me preface it. So Hybrid House, our focus at Hybrid House is really making everybody feel like they're an athlete. Maybe they once were, maybe they've always wanted to be, and really bring that spirit back into everybody that works out and show what fun it is to really focus on performance and get outside and have goals that are tough and challenging so we can really feel athletic again. And I know that speaks to you. So with that story in mind, you know, what kind of brought you to the sport of obstacle course racing specifically? And can you talk a little bit just about your journey with obstacle course racing?
Yeah, all through like grade school and high school, I played soccer. So I was athletic, but I wasn't a good soccer player. I was like middle of the road soccer player. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the community, for the team aspect of it. And once I got out of high school, I found myself drawn to like more alternative sports. Like I started rock climbing and doing a little backpacking and hiking. And, you know, I really liked being outdoors. And then I got married. Got a real job, had kind of an instant family, raised two like amazing stepkids. And, you know, your life kind of changes focus at that point to, you know, your kids and your life and work. And after my divorce, I went back to something that I loved doing and had always done all through my life, which is roller skating. I went back to roller skating. And that's kind of when roller derby was seeing a resurgence. And I'm like, I'm kind of old though. I think I was like maybe 43, 44. But the thing is in roller derby, like I'm an old school skater, like I knew how to skate. And I kind of had that above most women that were starting roller derby, or like they had to learn to skate first. But I already had the skating skills. So I started playing roller derby. And I was pretty good at it, like, you know, because I could skate. But unfortunately on bank track practice one night, I broke my ankle. And, you know, then I have to hear from everybody, you're too old, you shouldn't be playing roller derby, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, of course it was devastating. It took 3 months out of my life to recover from that injury. I had surgery, I had plates. But for some reason, I felt inclined to go back to derby to prove that it was just a fluke. You know, it's not because I don't know how to skate. I just took a gigantic hit from a strong player. And a year and a half later, broke my other ankle. So at that point, I'm like, I can't, I'm running out of ankles to break. I should not, this is not good. I can't do roller derby. But at that time, my husband was coaching 2 leagues. He was out doing derby and playing derby 4 and 5 nights a week. And here I am, I'm sitting on the couch, Timmy, getting fat and miserable.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting on the scale, which I didn't really do. I've never really had to worry about my weight that much. And I was 155 pounds. And I'm like, how did that happen? Like, how did this happen to me? And I realized it's because I'm sitting at home every night on the couch. I tried coaching derby. I wasn't getting what I needed out of it. But some of my derby friends said, hey, we're going to do this warrior dash. Let's go do this mud run. And, you know, it was just a chance to, you know, rekindle with those girls, with those women that I love so much. And so me and Katie and Aaron went and did a warrior dash. And it was so fun, but it was easy. Like, I'm like, this isn't hard, you know, like this, you know, I got to try something harder than this, you know? And, you know, it was fateful that I saw a couple girls wearing a t-shirt for a ORC gym in Signal Hill, and I live in Long Beach. So that's kind of what made me realize, wait, there's gyms that you can do this, which now has come full circle and is Hybrid House.
Right.
So I did that run. Then we went and did a Tough Mudder, which was a little harder. Failed most of the obstacles, but still had a blast. And then I just joined the gym. And I think the first time I met you, like, you have an energy that just draws people in. You have a charisma. And the first thing I thought when I walked in there is, I'm old. I'm not in super good shape. I can't do any of these obstacles. And this workout was ridiculous. Like, I think I was trying a beach body workout at home and you had to do 20 burpees. And I was like, these burpees suck. I fucking hate burpees. I'm going to go to a gym because I'm not doing these burpees anymore. First class, Timmy, I kid you not, it was a 500 burpee buy-in. And I'm like, are these people for real? Are they really doing this? Do you remember that?
I want to say that there's no way and you're totally exaggerating and lying, but I know it's true.
It's true.
It was probably, oh my God. And somehow like, you're still here.
I know. I don't know how but I think that's what it was. I think I went in there, but let me back up. If I would have went in there and been made to feel less than, or that I could not do it,
right,
that would have been the last day I would have went to that gym.
Right.
But something about Timmy, like, encouraging me, laughing, like, with me, like, oh, you can do it. Come on. This is nothing, you know? And the other people in the class, like, the energy in that room was just infectious. And I'm like, I was exhausted. I could only do twice a week when I first started because I was literally destroyed from these classes. But at the same point, every night when I left, I felt energized. Like, I felt so good about doing it. And everybody is a charger. And then, like, I'm a charger too, but I wasn't really ready to charge in that way. So I just kept going. And then I started going 3 days a week. And, you know, before I knew it, I'm going 4 and 5 days a week. And you guys are doing Spartan races. So I was like, yeah, I want to do Spartan race. And our first race was in Castaic. And I knew a couple things right off the bat. I will never be able to climb a rope. I will never be able to do a twister. I will never be able to get across the Olympus. I guess I'm going to have to learn to run better because I cannot do any of these things. So I ran Castaic pretty much by myself. We were like biggest team that year. And so there was like 80 of us out there. So there was always someone around. I remember Lala being around and I remember Normie being around. And sure enough, I was doing my burpees at all these obstacles. And that race, you won. And you were up there on that podium.
That's right.
And I got like teary-eyed. Like, I was just choked up because I'm like, that will never be me. Like, I would love to be able to get like that good to get on a podium, and that will never be me. But how proud I am of you. And then it just made me like, Team Timmy. Timmy Brown is the ultimate Spartan. Like, oh my God, my coach is the best. And that further like inspired me.
Right.
And so then I just said, you know, if I really want to do these races, I should learn how to do these obstacles. And it was kind of overwhelming, and I just picked one at a time.
Yeah.
But like, the cool thing is like, I felt like I was getting the right kind of training because you did this. Right. So it's not like if you want an obstacle course race, I feel like you do need to be trained by someone who is familiar with obstacle course racing.
Right.
Like, and so I just felt like I was getting the best of training, you know. And I remember first wanting to get just the monkey bars, because, oh my gosh, at 48 years old, walking up to those monkey bars the first time, I'm like, I got this. Okay, monkey bars. I did this all day long in grade school. And all of a sudden, your 48-year-old body can only hold on for one monkey bar, and you're just dropping to the ground, and you're like, what has happened to me that I can't do these monkey bars? I did everything. I got gloves, I did chalk, you know. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think one of the best things that like you taught me was you don't have to look like this yoked up, perfect person. You don't have to look like you.
I'm not yoked up. But thank you. But yes.
To be able to do the monkey bars. You don't have to look like a fucking superhero. You can be a normal human being, and with the right level combination of strength and technique, you can do these things. Anybody can do these things. You can be 250 pounds and climb up a rope.
Yes.
You know, but really at the end of the day, just the confidence I got from working with you, the encouragement that I got from working with you, and any coach that works with you, you know, has that same type of philosophy is, Denise Hahn is not the baddest athlete in this room, but she's the baddest 50-year-old female athlete in this room, you know, and feeling that, you know, helped me have the confidence to keep moving on, to keep pushing up, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I remember, you know, we've become such good friends now, and you know, I remember when you started so well, when we didn't know each other yet, and you walked into the gym, and I remember you talking about your broken ankles.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, like, who is this badass who's coming into the gym, 2 broken ankles? I mean, I appreciate the shout out, but you just had like this excitement and this eagerness to come in and work out hard. And from the day you started to now, and you really have been consistent and pushed, and you, with some guidance, have set your own goals. Like you said, I'm going to tackle, number one, you said to yourself at some point, this obstacle course is not going to defeat me, and I'm going to get better, you know, which is already, to me, such an athletic frame of mind. And you really said it well, which is, we all have this in us. It has nothing to do with who's a badass, who's not a badass. Everybody is. It's just accessing this piece of us and having the desire to do better. So you did your mud run, you did your Tough Mudder, you went in a Spartan, didn't get the obstacles, fell off the monkey bars, but you said to yourself, I'm not doing that again, or this isn't meant for me. You said to yourself, I played soccer, I've done roller derby, no, I'm not getting any younger, but F that, like, I'm going to tackle these things. And you also came up with a strategy. I didn't come up with, Denise, tackle one obstacle at a time, and you came up with, I'm going to tackle one obstacle at a time. And I think you're right, it really gives a lot of credit, and where I think it's deserved, which is the community of people that make up this particular sport of obstacle course racing. And I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of them at the gym, and we're fortunate enough to have a lot of them in our life, because we push each other, we cheer each other on. I mean, my new thing is stand on your own podium, because seeing you, which I want you to get into, because you now sit on a podium, which I want you to talk about, but you really do get excited to see somebody else on a podium.
Yeah.
Excited, and you cry, and it's real, and it's the best feeling, because you love that person, and you know how hard it is. Like, you know, the journey isn't easy. So there's so much emotion and connection around it. And then, you know, and then there's this, I want to get better. I want to do better. I want to keep challenging myself, which we know exists in this sport. And obviously you're that person, you know, from soccer to roller derby, which is a very intimidating, hard sport. So, you know, I mean, I want you to know how, you know, that you know, for you to be able to enter the gym, not leave, enter the sport, not leave, like, it just says so much about you and your perseverance and your willingness to push and get better, and your desire to do more and really get more out of life, right? And to really get that high of how good it feels to do something so challenging at any level, at any age, even if you've injured yourself. Just this unwillingness to say no, or I'm going to stay on the couch, or I'm going to stay this weight. It's this desire for more, knowing how good it feels to accomplish these things that are so challenging, and how really it doesn't serve us to stay on the couch and kind of be in our own misery, right? But although this shit is hard, it feels so damn good, whether it's you or the people that you're around. And then the great thing about obstacle course racing and what we do, I mean, look at even us and our friendship, is you really make these wonderful connections, and it's really about community and being social and really lifting each other up. You know, right now is such an interesting time to talk about this too, because it really is a space that we're in where you just really want your buddy, your friend to get those monkey bars. And you cry when they do, because it's just the best feeling. And it's just this wonderful support system that doesn't let you get away with saying no, or with accepting less. Like it's like a tough love community in a way. Like, no, I want more for you. So I know you off the monkey bars, and I know right now in this moment you don't really want to get them, but like, I'm not going to let you not get them. You know, so it's this really cool community that you know, I think we're all missing right now, and has allowed us to really access this athlete that exists in all of us, no matter where you started, no matter your age. And what I want you to talk about, Denise, is from that day one of walking in, talking about how you had broken both your ankles, to 500 burpee buy-in for a workout and sticking around, to your first Spartan race where you fell off of everything, to seeing, you know, your coach on podium, to deciding you were going to tackle one obstacle at a time. I mean, you know, talk a little bit about from that person that walked in to, you know, I want you to talk about your podium that you know, and getting on podium for the first time.
So when I first started doing Spartan, it wasn't like really clear to me that there was different levels of racers. So, you know, first I discovered that, okay, to me, race is elite. Then there's these people that run in their age group. I'm not really sure what that means. And then there's everybody running open. And age group, the year I started, my age group would have been 40 to 49. And I was 48. So I was at the top end of that age group. So there was no way I could be competitive. So racing in the age group really didn't interest me. It was more about my personal goal as an open racer was to race clean races, was to race without missing obstacles. It wasn't about time. It was just about, I want to race clean. That's my goal. That's my own little personal thing. I just want to be able to race clean. Because I'm goal oriented. I have to have like something there. But once I started getting my obstacles down, once I started mastering my obstacles in a sprint, I mean, unless, you know, you fuck up your spear, which it happens, you know, I was pretty comfortable running clean open races. Like, I can do this. This is not an issue for me. And, you know, but in the back of my head, I was always thinking, if I could get on a podium, it would have to be in the age group, because open doesn't have any podiums. And I also, when I look at my time, my Spartan time in open, you don't know if those people are modifying their burpees or even not doing them at all. You don't know. So I kind of said, you know what, I think I'm going to race next year age group, even though I'm not competitive, just so I can see where I stack up amongst people 40 to 49. And then the next year, Spartan changed the age groups. And now it's 5-year increments. And now I, as a 50-year-old, was at the bottom of my age group, and I only had to race 50 to 54-year-olds. So that really excited me. I freaking bought my season pass. I signed up for 15 races. I'm like, let's do this. And so that kind of took my my commitment to my training was much more focused, was much more, now I need to run faster. Like, if I'm gonna, you know, my leg up on my competitors was my obstacle proficiency. Like, I didn't fall off obstacles, but women were falling off obstacles in my age range and then passing me on the run. So I'm like, I need to run faster, you know? And so that kind of, you know, changed my goals, changed what I wanted to do. I wanted to increase my fitness so I could just keep up. And so I was ready to go. I was chomping at the bit, going into my second year. And we went to, I get Las Vegas and Laughlin mixed up.
I know.
It was Vegas.
We shouldn't. Locals might not love that,
I know, right?
but I do too.
It was Vegas.
Like what?
Yeah, it was Las Vegas.
Okay.
And it was a weird one. They ran did they run the sprint first and the super the second day?
If it was weird, then it would have been sprint first, super second. Yeah.
So I ran the sprint the first day and I came in fourth. And I was like,
What?
you know, and I get it. Like, if anybody who's like seriously into competitive Spartan knows that this is a smaller local race, okay? This is not a national series race. This is a local race. And of course, the bigger the race, the higher profile, the more competitors show up. So, but still, fourth place, I was like, shit, I am one person off this freaking podium. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So the next day, all the three people that beat me were doing the super. But I was passing these women on the obstacles. I was making Olympus. I was making my rings. I was over the hurdle. I was passing these people, but I really had no idea because you kind of lose track. Maybe you don't because you're always at the top of the pack, but sometimes when you're running open, there's a lot of different racers and different age groups that are close to you. You got the kids coming up behind you. You got the older people in front of you. I had no idea where I was. And I remember walking over, you were over at the pro tent area. You were talking to another one of the pro team members, I think. And I think it was Cora that came up and I was just chilling. I didn't even check my time.
Yeah.
And Cora's like, Denise, you got second place. And I cried. I cried. Like that was a moment for me. Like 2 years ago, would I have ever imagined myself standing on a freaking podium? And, you know, it was just a really amazing feeling. But then you get that one and now you want more.
Yeah,
you know?
And why do you think that feeling was so amazing? Was it just like the feeling of accomplishment? Was it just thinking back to soccer where you were like mediocre? Was it just like why do you think it feels so good to just like stand on your own podium? Like, which to me is almost like a metaphor for like standing on top of something, really proud, like this really big moment of pride, knowing the grind it took to get there. Almost like the feeling you get when you climb a mountain, right? That's almost like a podium. Like, why do you think that felt so good to you?
Gosh, I'm getting choked up because
I know.
There is a bigger like meaning to it. And, you know, I manage a grocery store. It's not a glamorous job, but for many years, my competitive spirit was fueled through wanting to move up in my company, wanting to become a district manager, wanting to, you know, maybe get an executive position. And so my whole competitive life was fueled through that. But at some point in my career, I hit a wall and I was going through a really hard time with a really difficult manager above me. And it made me just give up that. Yeah. And that was hard because how do you define yourself in your work environment now when you're just going to be at this level the rest of your career? Like, how do you drive yourself? And that's really when I started doing derby. And, you know, then when I couldn't do that anymore, I'm like, there's nothing left. What else is there left for someone who's 50 years old to get any kind of accolade, to get any kind of award? You know, like, where does that exist? And, you know, here I am 50 years old standing on a podium in a fucking Spartan race, you know, and that feeling was just like, thank God I found something. I found this outlet that my soul needs. I need to compete. I need to be driving towards a goal that inspires me. Yeah. And so I think a lot of that like goes into it about just the person I am and needing that thing in my life and not having it while I was sitting on the couch getting fat. and realizing I'm going to be diabetic. I'm going to get to the point where I'm never going to be able to get this weight off. I don't feel good about how I look. So to find something that not only is keeping me healthy and active, but that's also filling that need I have to drive for a goal. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting
it meant a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, you're one story, and, you know, I think it's one of the reasons we've gotten so close, because you share these really, like you said, it's like a metaphor. You share these really big moments in a competitive platform with somebody, but it speaks to so much more in our lives. And I think that is why it feels so big or so good. And you're really talking a lot about how I feel just in my philosophy of really what we do. And it's just this, this idea that, yeah, that you want to, it's like this thirst for life, right? And if you,
Right.
and there's a tie-in too, I think. And I've done that too. You know, I used to work for a big box gym, and I remember wanting to climb the corporate ladder, and you get this like sense of identity and almost like this sense
Yes.
of accomplishment through like, oh, I advanced to the next step, or wow, I got an award at work, or, and it's this competitive spirit that I really think drives a lot of us. And it makes you feel like you have a purpose. And then when that doesn't happen anymore, or something's stopped it, or something's happened, I think that need and that drive and that competitive spirit still exists. So it's very devastating when you don't have it. And I am such a firm believer in what you're talking about, which is, how great is it that at 50, I'm 40, we can still have that in a
Yes.
really rewarding platform, which is fitness. I mean,
Right.
Obstacle course racing, roller derby, a couch to a 5K, whatever it is, you know, getting a medal, right? Getting a shirt that says you finished. It's this sense of accomplishment that feels so wonderful and gives you a purpose. And then you have a plan. So to me, it's so much more than like, I worked out today. Okay, that's great.
Right.
Maybe that's like right now your podium, but what about setting that goal that drives you? You wanted to climb the corporate ladder, and then that shifted to, I want to complete a Spartan race, and then that shifted to, I want to complete it not falling, and then that shifted to, oh my God, I really got a podium. And it's this incredible journey, and we continue to set the goal. And then I think that is why it's so emotional, because it's a sense of accomplishment, and you stand up there really proud, and it doesn't have to do with your work, and it doesn't have to do, you know, and it gives you that again. And I think that we really can get an amazing kind of thirst for life when we have that feeling. And then I think there can also be a tie-in, you know, when you talk about the metaphor, if you're doing that in your athletic world, whatever it is, for you, it's obstacle course racing, that to me is providing some sort of security for the person, right? Some sort of confidence, like, oh my gosh, look what I accomplished, to be able to take that now to your work environment, or be able to take that to maybe your relationships. Or I think it is a metaphor for life. And that's why I think it makes us cry, and it's so emotional, because it's so much more.
It's funny because I had a low point in my Spartan life with you, Timmy, at Seattle, the Seattle Race of Doom.
Maybe we should never discuss it again.
Yeah,
the Race of Doom.
But let's just say we were freezing and falling off of obstacles, and it was muddy, and you really couldn't run, and there was a chick in front of me in the age group cheating, and I was getting all focused on that, and I was just, you know, but during that race, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. Why am I putting myself through this torture? And I didn't have that, oh, I finished that hard race afterwards. I was ready to fucking quit Spartan. Right. I was like, I paid money to do this. I paid money to be fucking miserable. This is terrible. But at that moment for me, it was like, okay, so quit Spartan racing. You don't have to do this. You don't have to crawl through mud. You don't have to walk through ice cold water. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do burpees when you're freezing cold. But then I'm like, I can't give this up. This is like so good to me. But it took me on another journey in my Spartan, which was mental toughness, like building my mental toughness, like realizing, okay, I have to be in a better headspace out there, because who wants to be out there for 2 hours, for me, 2 hours on a super, just thinking about how miserable it is. And then I started like listening to podcasts and reading and just like turning my mind around. And that's why just recently in our memories popped up Big Bear.
Yes.
Because Big Bear was the first race that I did that I felt was going to be a true test of my mental toughness. And for me, the goal in that race was to have a fun race, was to enjoy Big Bear. Everybody tells me Big Bear is such a nightmare. Big Bear, it sucks. I had so much fun at Big Bear. And for you to be at the finish line cheering me on as I burpee out the fucking slip wall after just going through all that hell, I just crossed that line, which is the biggest smile on my face, even though I failed the last 2 obstacles, even though I did what's 5 times 30, 150 burpees. I freaking made the double twister going uphill. I freaking made that Olympus, triple Olympus. Like I had so many accomplishments in that race. Like I felt nothing but good about it. Like, even though I came in 6th place, it was my personal podium. Like that race was, I fucking crushed this thing, you know? So you don't even have to get on a podium to, you know, feel the sense of accomplishment. But that was a good thing that popped up in my Facebook memory, seeing you and I at the finish line at Big Bear. And I was just smiling ear to ear after have gone just to Missouri. So
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that race, you know, and I think, and I remember putting the medal on you, and I remember your smile so big. And I think what you're touching on is, yes, mental toughness, but I think, you know, what you're also speaking to is this idea of suffering and mindset. And I think it is a choice. I think that, that certain races test us. I think it shows a few things. I think it shows you don't have to suffer to learn, right? You bring up personal podium, and I think personal podium is really big first, which is, what is your podium? We can all have a podium. There can be the physical podium at a race, absolutely, where it's first, second, third. That is a podium. That is a podium that maybe we all think of. But there's also your personal podium. What would make you feel good to, you know, maybe it's just completing a Spartan. Maybe that is your personal podium. Maybe it's, maybe like you said, it's going through a race that you know is supposed to be a soul crusher and coming out of it smiling. Like, you know, it really, that to me is just setting a goal that, you know, is a challenge and having a feeling of accomplishment. And then I think another thing you talk about that's really important is this idea that we don't have to suffer, or that something doesn't have to be really miserable and hard, in the sense of like, it almost takes your soul to feel accomplished. I think we can learn and feel accomplished killing it and crushing it too. And we also can learn and feel accomplished by that mindset and deciding, you know, you felt so accomplished at the end of Big Bear, even with those fails, even though there was no podium for you, that was 1, 2, or 3, you felt like you stood on your own podium at the end of that race, because what was supposed to make you suffer, what was supposed to make you feel miserable, what was supposed to crush your soul, left you having fun and happy. So you knew that you really had control over that and that mindset, and that was your choice, and you accomplished that. I mean, you really did cross that finish line smiling, like laughing through those burpees. Like, no, like you don't get to break me like Seattle did. And you know, so really, you know, again, so learning, and then also having takeaways that we can learn in different ways, right? From different things from different races. And then that choice of mindset of, you know, the suffering or the feeling like you're standing on a podium.
And I forgot that I started making that point because of another point I wanted to make, was how doing Spartan races and all this physical activity has helped me at work, because, you know, I have a really hard job. Like, I manage 150 people. I have 13 departments. I have a pharmacy. I have a licensed Starbucks kiosk. I have 2 security guards. My store is 3 levels, and I'm in a downtown urban environment. So I got homeless people. I got rich people. I got every member of the spectrum that comes in and out my doors every day. And of course, during the quarantine, we're one of the only places that's open. So, that first week when everybody was panic buying and it was just getting crazy, I found myself saying, come on, you're a Spartan. You can handle this. Like, using the mental toughness, like I never thought of applying it to work. And now I'm having to apply it to work. I had the worst, I'll tell you the single worst day of the quarantine, Timmy.
Oh no.
So my company decides they're going to put up notices saying face coverings required to enter this building. Okay. But at this point, that was not the law. The health department did not mandate that yet. Okay. So we're supposed to just put the sign up and hope people follow along. Well, my customers are like, okay, face cover. Okay, got my face cover on. I'm good. They're going in the store. But then there's people that are like, I don't have to, and walk in. So now these customers are getting in a fight. They're not wearing a face mask and your sign says, and I'm like, this sign. So now I'm talking like 30 people a day off the ledge over face masks. And then the next day, the Long Beach mandated it inside an essential business. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Because now it doesn't matter what your politics are or your physical feelings are about a mask. This is just the rules, and we're just playing by the rules. So now I only have confrontations with people 2 to 3 times a day. But every time I go up to one, like in my mind, I'm like, I'm a Spartan. I've done harder than dealing with this guy who thinks he doesn't need to be wearing a mask in my store right now. And my number one trick is I just take it down a level. Like I'm like, I come up really calm.
Well, because
I always have like an extra one in my pocket. So for me, if you could just put this on while you're in the store and then grab it out of my hand, put it on.
Well, because as cliche as it sounds, your sport, and it happens to be my sport as well, though I'm branching out into other sports, really obstacle course racing is our sport. And as cliche as it sounds, overcoming obstacles physically helps you overcome them in your life. It really does. And I think we can all agree that is just true. And that's why, one of the reasons why the sport is so rewarding. And I think, and I think it's not just, we talk about obstacle course racing and competing, but I think that it's not just that sport, right? I mean, I think it's really this idea of challenging yourself, getting off the couch and kind of having no excuses in your particular story, saying, you know what, I'm unwilling to sit here and get fatter and get lazier and get more miserable, and I need to do something. And then also trusting that no matter where you're at, setting a goal and working to meet it is really what you need to kind of keep going. And it doesn't really matter, like you said, your level or where you're starting, but it's just more of the desire. And then I think as you go through the training, you're putting tools in your tool belt, and then it's helping you in life, and then it's helping you in your sport. So the rewards are just coming.
Right.
It's hard, and there's days in Seattle where you're like, I don't want to do this ever again, and we're venting to each other, and but we're adding the tools, and
right.
we're accomplishing, and it feels so good. So you just don't want to stop. It's just
right.
so rewarding, and then you feel it go into the rest of your life where you just don't want to, where you realize how much you need it. And I think especially
right.
at a time like right now, where, the races have been canceled, and, it's interesting to hear you use it in your work because you are an essential business. You do have a really challenging position right now, and you're able to use everything you've taken from obstacle course racing and apply it. I mean, how wonderful is that? That's kind of like the thing you don't think about until it happens. And you're like,
Right.
I got this, you know?
Right.
And I think that that's just so wonderful. And you know, and I hope that, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to hop on with you today, because to me, your story is not only very cool and different, but encouraging and motivating. And, you know, Denise, to be honest, a lot of people your age and in your situation have excuses. You know, I've been doing this since 2007. And I think we're both in the same boat. We just want to encourage and motivate people around us. And we want people to feel what we feel, right? But there are a lot of excuses. I'm too old to compete. There is no podium out there for me. I think forgetting that it really is about your own podium. I can't do that.
Right.
You know, what you even said yourself, you were just unwilling to accept no. Like you wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take I can't.
I'm never getting up this rope.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
just
So what? Yeah. So you said I'm never getting up this rope, and then something told you, well, maybe if I only work on getting up this rope, I'll get up this damn rope. You know, and it's true. You see young, you see older, you see small, you see large, and I think, you know, you nailed another thing, which you know, again, I think is why we you know, we share so much in common with our philosophy and really what we believe in when it comes to this stuff. And physique is really kind of the silver lining. Like your body changes when you do this stuff, but really it's really wonderful in this community of competitors to see that it's everybody. It's every age, it's every size, it's every gym, it's just everybody. There's no, like, you don't have to look the part. You just don't. It's a lot mental. It's a lot having this desire to just continue to make accomplishments, right? And to train hard and set goals. And I think that's the other cool part, is that it's everybody. And so the excuses, you really can't have them, because trust me, whatever your excuse is, the person next to you is not using it as an excuse. And I think that's really where the community is so rewarding, and where it does become such a welcoming environment. Like you said, you walked in intimidated, 500 burpees, but you couldn't get over the cheering and the smiles and the positivity, because that truly is what, you know, this competitive, supportive nature breeds that. It does. It really breeds this like very cool, social atmosphere.
Yeah, I think, you know, sometimes, and I'm sure you see this too, that you see people who maybe, you know, signed up for an introductory, or they're on ClassPass or something. And I don't know, there is a special something inside of Hybrid Homies that I think we all have a common thread. I'm not exactly what it is, but sometimes I can see when somebody joins and I'm like, this isn't for them. I can tell it's not for them. But then some people, you're like, you see the light bulb going on. You see these guys are charging it. I want to charge it. Maybe you're not there like I was, you know, but there is definitely, I think, something special and unique about competitive athletes. Like that there has to be a little flame in you that just needs to be stoked, you know. And I still had my little flame going, and by joining Hybrid House, it got just
it's like this, it's like you have to. It's like you can be any level, any age, but you have to have the desire to be comfortable and to push. It's not easy. And you know, it's kind of, you know, we'll wrap things up, and I think you really bring it full circle. My silver lining, you know, Hybrid House had to close, as you know. You've still been supporting me, and I really appreciate that, because I had to close. I had to bring everything online. Not everybody wants to go online. I feel like we're getting close to opening back up. We're going to do our, for those of you out there, Denise is, she's kind of become the event coordinator for Hybrid, because she takes on everything and is like my mentor and my business mentor and my event planner all at the same time. But we're going to do a virtual Spartan race next weekend on Saturday. I believe it's May 30th. At Hybrid House will be kind of home base, and we'll give more information, Denise's idea. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But bringing it full circle, what you hit on is, you have to have a little something. When I became a trainer in 2007, I left my corporate position. I just knew it was what I wanted to do with my life, and I've never looked back. And trust me, I leave a lot of things. I am not one to not go like, I'm ready for change. I'm ready for change. Like, oh, that's shiny. Let me go over there. Like that is how I live my life. And I have not strayed from coaching since 2007, because I just know that it's where I'm meant to be, which is a really good feeling. And when I became a trainer first in 2007, I started kind of pushing people past this like point. And sometimes it was in my favor and sometimes it wasn't. And my managers would say, hey, Timmy, like maybe you need to back off, or maybe you need to change your training, and something in me felt like, I kind of feel like I should stick to what I know. But I would battle with it. And trust me, to this day, I have, my oldest client is 87 and my youngest is 14. So I definitely train this spectrum, but what everybody has in common that I train is this need to push, is this need to feel challenged.
Yep.
And I think you're right. I think that exists at Hybrid, because going back to when I first started, I finally had a manager that said to me, you know what, coach the way that you feel you need to coach. And I think that you're going to be successful. And it was the best piece of advice he could have given me. And the silver lining for me after closing Hybrid and going online, I've had a lot of time to focus on the business, and I have calls every week with a marketing mentor and a business mentor, at the Small Business Development Center. And one golden piece of advice I got, again, which you're talking about, is I said, do I need to change my philosophy? Do I need to change the way I coach and the way that I coach my team to coach? Because you're right, the team at Hybrid really has the same philosophy, to reach the masses. Is that like something I need to do? And the best piece of advice I think I got was, no, stick to what you feel is right. Stick to your philosophy. If you think that people really need to try to access their inner athlete, and you think that this push and this grind is really where the payoff is and where people's lives change, don't stray. Like, stick with that.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think that it's okay that it's not for everybody. Obstacle course racing isn't for everybody. CrossFit isn't for everybody. But really, the environment and the community that we have and what we have in common is, no matter what you're competing in, no matter what you desire, right? Your own, what exists in all of us is this need to push past a discomfort so that we have a sense of accomplishment. And I think that we all feed off of that in our own way. And I think it does breed this really positive, supportive community. But
Yep.
we definitely push each other. Like, it's not easy.
Yes.
Like, it's not easy. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to know that that's who we are. And it's okay to know that that's what you're going to get when you walk through the doors. You can be any level. You will get support, but we will expect everybody.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that was unique. I think gym environments can be very intimidating,
Right.
But you can walk in any shape, size, condition, anything into Hybrid House.
Yeah.
You will get the same attention that this elite athlete gets, because we do have elite members, but to me, it's inspiring, because I look at them and I'm like, wow, I look at, Todd Levinson and how fast he runs, and, and I look at Marissa and Cora, and I look at all these amazing athletes and they inspire me. But then I'm just inspired by somebody coming in brand new, and I'm like, you got this, like, you can hang. And they definitely get the attention, if not more sometimes, early on as they're developing.
Right.
But I still think at your core, you have to be a go-getter. This shit ain't easy. Yeah, you could walk in and it could be a 500 burpee buy-in. You better be ready for that shit, and just jump in and do it. And even if they're shitty burpees, and even if you're slow and it takes you forever, you're going to get through them, and everyone will be there like, yeah, you got this, like cheering you on. Yeah. And I think that that's the magic combination at Hybrid House that you, Timmy, have cultivated.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I think it's really the members that make it the space it is. And I'm happy we all have it. I'm happy that we have this place where we don't just go in and go, I worked out today, but where we go in and we leave maybe crying, happy tears, maybe, trust me, Coach V has brought me to tears in a workout. But he also makes me better, so, how cool to have a space that like consistently makes you work on yourself, like consistently makes you want more out of life. Like I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think it's really wonderful and special. And I'm glad we all hold it like near and dear. And I think all any of us want is for more people to have this feeling and to have this sense of community and space where you really do feel like you just have this purpose, again, whether we're older or whether you weren't the cool athlete at school and you want it, it's just this desire. I think you're right. It's like this need and this feeling inside. But it's for everybody. It's just that you need to have this like fire, like you said, even if the flame is barely lit,
right.
Even if it's here, it will be here, but you have to have this little thing where you desire that, and because then you leave going, yeah, maybe I only got to 70 burpees, but I was cheered on. It pushed me. I felt really damn good. And man, I was scared, but I stayed, and that feels good, so.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the commonality. Everybody has this little fire and then that just needs to be stoked.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think you're right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I love talking to you about your story, and I even, learned some more things about you, but I'm glad we at least get to get on here and chat because, we haven't been able to travel, we're travel partners. We haven't been able to, catch up. And so I'm looking forward to that again, for sure. I'm missing that time, but at least for now we have this. And before we hop off, just talk a little bit about what we're doing next weekend.
So Spartan is offering up virtual races, and I myself am a medal whore. I like a medal. And they have a really cool t-shirt that says lockdown on the back. And I'm like, I'm down. And then I'm a season pass holder, so I get one free virtual race with goodies. So I'm like, I'm down. So I was talking to Todd Levinson, who's also one of my travel partners. And he's like, yeah, let's pick which one. And then I said, well, I'm just going to put it out to Hybrid House in our little private group. And everybody's like, yeah. So now like Timmy are like, let's just do something. Let's make this happen. Let's, we have a twister, we have monkey bars, we have an Olympus wall, we have tire flips, we have a spear throw. We could make an urban Spartan course and still be socially responsible and social distance and practice all those good, safe practices that I use at my store that has 30,000 people a week coming through it, by the way, still. So we're going to use some of those techniques to keep everybody safe. And we're going to go run a freaking urban Spartan race. And we're going to make 3 distances. And we got people who are at sprint level, super level. I think Manny's going to do all 3. He's a charger.
He's going to do all 3. Where's the ultra? Where's the ultra?
I know. We should have an ultra loop for Manny. Yeah, you guys
we'll just call it the Manny loop. Manny, exactly. You can do all 3 twice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to get everybody's times. I'm sure Timmy and I can come up with some little personal podiums for things. Yeah. I'm sure I'm gonna crush it in the women 50 age group. Oh wait, maybe not. Tilly out there.
You got some competition.
I do have some competition. There is another 50-year-old woman in Hybrid House, and I love it because it's like
she's gotten on podium. Tilly got on podium.
Yeah, she's got a podium. It's awesome, but it's kind of exciting to have. It's like we compete against each other, but like in a good way, kind of like the pros do. We're our own little Spartan pro team. 50-year-old women.
Totally, and that's how supportive the pros are too. So yeah, guys, join us if you want. Feel free to reach out. To me personally. Or to Denise, but we're going to be doing a virtual Spartan race with Spartan. It is free on the Spartan website, but as Denise mentioned, there are also ways that you can upgrade. So they have a lot of options on there. But check it out on Spartan. And it's basically called their virtual race, and it starts next weekend. So we have a week.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing ours on Saturday, and we'll be mapping out the course this week and getting everything ready this week. And as Denise mentioned, everything will be social distanced and, responsible with, because your safety is number one. So, Denise, thank you for being on. It's so wonderful to chat with you. I love your
Good
story.
to chat with you too.
And have a wonderful day. I'm glad Denise gets a little bit of break from work. She's been working her butt off, so she's got a little break and stepped away and still hopped on with us on your vacation. So enjoy the rest of it. Enjoy being off for a few days, and then I will see you soon.
All right.
Okay. All right. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Talk to you soon.